What is going on, Algebra Bros? In this video, we're going to do an example involving the formula for compound interest. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. In this example, it says that $700 is invested at 10% compounded quarterly. And then there are two questions that follow it. What is the value after a period of 6 years? And then what would the value be if it was compounded daily, assuming that it's being compounded through a period of 6 years again. So what you're going to want to do is maybe make a list of the items that you can pluck out from this. There are going to be two calculations that we do. The first is the value after a period of 6 years compounded quarterly, and then the second is compounded daily. So let's make a couple of workspaces here. So we'll say quarterly, and then daily. So $700 is invested. This would be a value of P. So P is 700 at a rate of 10%. That's a value of R. Oops. But of course, instead of 10%, we want to use 0.10. Compounded quarterly, that gives us a value of n equaling 4, and then a period of 6 years in the first question, and we'll assume that period for the second question as well, so t equals 6. Go ahead and plug this information into the compound interest formula. We'll have A equals 700 times quantity 1 plus 0.10 over 4 raised to the 4 times 6. And this is definitely something we'll type into the calculator. But before we do so, I would encourage you to multiply the 4 and the 6 together to get 24, and it'll just make life a little bit easier when it comes to typing this stuff into the calculator. So without further ado, let's go ahead and type this into the calculator. It's 700. Open up a set of parentheses. 1 plus 0.10 divided by 4. Be sure to close off the parentheses. That way your calculator knows that it's all of 1 plus 0.10 over 4 being raised to the 24, as opposed to just the fraction 0.1 over 4. Press enter, and to the nearest penny, we're looking at $1,266.11. Okay. Now for daily, we're going to have a lot of the same parameters. So for instance, the value of P will still be 700. Rate will still be 10% or 0.10. N is going to be different though this time. N is going to be 365. Okay, so that's the major difference with the second calculation. T is still going to equal 6. So we'll plug this information into the formula for compound interest. A equals 700 times quantity 1 plus 0.10 over 4 raised to the, well, I'm sorry, 0.10 over 365 being raised to 365 times 6. Now, that's 700 times 1 plus 0.10 over 365, all that raised to 2,190. So since there are 365 days in a year, and there's 6 years that this loan is going to be good for, there are a total amount of 2,190 interest calculations. Now that doesn't mean that there are 2,190 interest calculations of 10%, but rather there are 2,190 interest calculations of this amount. Anyhow, going to the calculator, we'll have 700 times 1 plus 0.10 over 365, all that being raised to power 2,190. Okay, so under the daily scheme, we are looking at roughly $1,275.38. Alright, so that's where the pain and torture, fun and excitement for this video ends. Of course, if you have any questions about it whatsoever, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.